Alright, hi everyone, this is audap. Let's continue our game of Kansei. Uh, what's the subtitle? Ah, that's right. Kansei the Second Turn HD. HD in case you were stupid enough to buy the SD one. Running on Series X. When I get to the bottom, Detective Gursky glances at me with mild amusement.
Glad you could make it. Did you take a wrong turn somewhere?
No,
You okay?
I'm fine. I look around the room, hoping to change the subject. Where did everyone go?
Miss Millerson wasn't feeling well, so Naoki offered to make some tea for her. They both went to the kitchen. Aki said she had to use the restroom, although I suspect she just wants to look around. And I'm never entirely sure what Lee May is doing. The house is in lockdown right now, so it won't let any of us leave until Sophia unlocks it. I guess you can roam around or do whatever you feel like.
Okay. Let's see, it's a water fountain. The glass orb is lit by a light bulb, but it looks like there's a bowl in the middle. I guess that back in the day it held oil for a flame. It's live bamboo. I bet a panda would enjoy it. Some sort of Chinese calligraphy. Too bad I can't read it. That's the door to Mr. Otten's office. I'm fairly certain that I'm not allowed in there. Alright, where are we going? Some sort of art screen. It looks very old. That's the door to Mr. Otten's office. It's locked. Calligraphy, Chinese, I assume. Oh, okay. Not much here. As I enter the hallway, I'm nearly run over by a guy as he rushes out from around the corner.
Whoa! Sorry, dude.
He skids to a halt and jumps a few times, holding his hand out in self-defense. Hi? He stops for a moment to look me over.
Never seen you around before. You're not one of Liam's friends, are you?
Not really.
Oh, good. I can't stand Liam's friends. Don't tell him I said that.
Your secret safe with me, I guess? Who are you?
Kevin, I'm the IT guy. I run all the security here. Got a blip in my system saying the power went out, so I came here to see what happened. Sophia hasn't been answering my calls.
You came here? I thought the house was in lockdown. Kevin taps the temple of his head.
Master Code unlocks any door.
Right.
And who are you again?
Kongai. I'm a special investigator.
Wicked. So Big Will is finally gonna bring down the hammer on Liam in his little nightlife.
Big Will? Does it mean William Otten? Actually, Mr. Otten just passed away. Kevin stares at me blankly for a moment, but his expression slowly changes as he processes my statement.
Passed away? As in, dead?
I'm not entirely sure there's another way to interpret that.
Whoa.
Kevin runs his fingers through his hair and laughs nervously.
Sorry, man. This is just... Wow, I can't believe it. It's kinda unreal, you know? I just saw him yesterday and he looked fine. Well, as fine as a guy his age can look. Well, as fine as a super paranoid guy his age can look. Well, as fine as a super paranoid guy who drinks a lot at his age.
Yeah, I get it.
So, what happened?
I don't even know what happened myself. I'm not exactly sure what to tell this guy. He may have been murdered. Whoa.
Holy cow! Murdered? I didn't see that one coming.
Kevin rubs his chin thoughtfully.
I guess that's what he meant.
What are you talking about?
Mr. Otten never liked to talk about his history. Anytime someone asked, he'd always say that he'd buried his past a long time ago. Once, when he'd had a little too much to drink, He told me that he was afraid that one day his past would come back and return the favor.
That sounds pretty ominous. It would fit with the fact that he's built up his house like a fortress, though.
Man, dead? Really?
He shakes his head.
Sorry, that's just too weird. I'm still having a hard time believing it. So, are the police gonna question us all and stuff?
Probably. I grimace as I realize that I'm about to be dragged into yet another investigation.
Well, I guess I'll hang out here until then. I'll be in the security room if you need me. It's the first door on the left here in this hallway.
Okay. See, it's a retina scanner. The door only locks if you have clearance. There's a keypad attached to it. I bet I could override the scanner if I knew the right codes. An old painting on a silk scroll. Appears to be of a forest of some sort. It's an old painting on a silk scroll. Appears to be a cave of some sort. A vase with some sort of plant. The vase looks authentic, but the plant is definitely fake. Old painting with silk scroll. So this one's an ocean. And then this one is a mountain. I'm sure this is going to play a role in some puzzle. Ah, a restroom. Weird. This looks like he built this place with visitors in mind. I wonder what changed. Let's see. There's a space between the frame and the wall, so it's not a two-way mirror. I can't believe I'm checking for this. Old habits die hard, I guess. Soap dispenser. According to the label, it's evergreen scented, but it just smells like soap to me. A sink with a porcelain basin. I guess you're supposed to dry your hands on these towels? Where exactly am I supposed to put the towel after that? A bathroom stall with a toilet in it. The place looks a lot like a public restroom. I wonder if Mr. Otten used to accept a lot of guests. A lamp. The body's made out of porcelain. This chair is sadly not as comfortable as it looks. Yeah, I don't like this mouse pointer interface. It's never been a comfortable thing on a console. The atmosphere in the kitchen is tense. The sound of my footsteps sounds unusually loud on the tile floor. Hey.
Hey.
Naoki welcomes me with a half-hearted smile. Sophia is standing at the other end of the kitchen, sipping slowly on a cup of tea. Her eyes don't waver from the small cup in her hands. I lean towards Naoki. Is she okay?
She's feeling better. Still a little shaken up, though. She was crying pretty hard when we found Mr. Otten's body.
Kangai,
Yes?
I hope you don't mind if I ask you something.
No, go ahead.
How did you know that something bad happened to Mr. Otten?
That's...
Naoki, please. I was asking Kangai.
Sorry.
So, how did you know?
Oh boy, what should I say? If I tell the truth, she might think I'm crazy, but I really don't want to lie to her. I guess you could say I have some sort of sixth sense.
A sixth sense? As in psychic?
I guess you could call it that?
Can you give me details on how it works?
Whoa, suddenly she sounds like she might believe me. I can't really say. I just feel things. I get sick sometimes, and then I know something bad has happened. Naoki is staring hard at me as if I should keep quiet. I guess just talking about my Kansei is a bad idea. Still, I feel as if she deserves at least a partial truth.
I see. I suppose it's different then.
Different? From what?
Many years ago, Mr. Otten experimented with extending the mental capacities of human beings. It's not like what you described, though.
What sort of experiments?
I don't really know much about it. It was a long time ago, before I started working for him. He just mentioned it in passing once, so I thought maybe that had something to do with it. He was terribly drunk at the time, though, so I suppose he might not have even been telling the truth. I'm sorry, I'm jumping to the strangest conclusions here. I must not be in a very good frame of mind right now.
Sophia sighs and shuts her eyes. She looks like she wants to cry again. I'm sorry. You really cared about Mr. Otten, didn't you? For a moment, Sophia doesn't respond. Her shoulders shudder as she takes in a deep breath. Finally, she opens her eyes and speaks in barely more than a whisper.
I don't know what I'm going to do now that he's gone.
I'm so sorry.
Naoki places a gentle hand on Sophia's shoulder. For a moment, I feel strange. She definitely sounds sincere, but something about what she just said sounds off.
I'm sorry. I just really want to find the person who did this. If there's anything you need to know, just ask, okay?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Let's see. Some spoons and a spatula. They're all a bit dusty. Looks like a gas stove. Commercial grade. There's a recycling bin in here. It's about half full of glass and plastic bottles. It's a dish towel. It's about as exciting as a lint towel. Oh, it's empty. A spoon with a hole in the bottom. Probably not too useful for serving soup, but perfect for straining pasta. It's just a normal kettle. Nothing suspicious about it. This door leads back into the hallway. A microwave. It's very clean. Sophia really keeps things tidy around here. The fridge is pretty well stocked, but it's all pre-packaged food. I guess no one cooks around here? There's hot tea in there. Naoki probably made it. What should I talk about? What do you think about Mr. Otten's death?
What do I think? I think it's terrible. I really don't like having to see dead bodies.
Well, I meant, what do you think who do you think did it?
I really can't say. I don't want to make any judgments.
He glances to the side and begins to absent-mindedly fiddle with his fingers. Can you at least tell me your thoughts on everyone here?
Well, Liam is pretty angry with his uncle. His eyebrows went down every time he spoke about him. He covered his face when Aki started asking more questions, so he's got something to hide. I'm pretty sure Marissa's hiding something too. Every time she smiles, her eyebrows go up, as if she's worried. After she finished her interview with Mr. Otten, she was even more nervous than before.
Naoki glances at Sophia before leaning in and whispering.
Sophia was pretty frustrated when we came, but now she's really anxious. She won't stop pacing back and forth.
And what about Kevin?
You mean that guy with the red hair? I didn't really get to see his face. Sorry.
Don't worry about it. I was just curious. Really, it's good enough that you know this much. I'm kind of impressed.
I've been studying body language for a while now.
What should I talk about? Okay, thanks.
Feel free to come talk more if you want.
Guess that's... What should I talk about? Why do you work for Mr. Otten?
Mr. Otten values my services. I am a trained professional and an excellent personal assistant.
That wasn't really an answer. What I meant was, why did you choose to work for him?
I have personal reasons, but my employment is both legal and morally sound.
I'll come back later.
Of course.
Okay, what are we moving to here? Museum. Oh, she's here. Li Mei is gazing blankly in the direction of a collection of old plates. I approach, but she barely seems to notice my presence. So, hey. Li Mei blinks slowly and turns to face me. She nods once to acknowledge my presence. I shift my weight from one foot to the next as she stares at me expectantly. What am I even supposed to say? How are you feeling? She She stares at me with a mixture of surprise and confusion.
I don't know.
She states it so simply, I almost feel foolish for asking. I guess I was just wondering if you were okay, since someone died after all. She tilts her head and looks at me curiously.
Does it bother you?
Does what bother me?
Death.
Oh, yeah, of course it does. It does bother me. Or not really. I guess I'm used to it by now. I still think it's sad, but I'm kind of numb to it all. I stare at my hands and rub my fingers slowly together. My palms feel sweaty. What about you? Mime stares at me curiously, as if she doesn't fully understand my question. I mean, are you bothered by death? She fidgets and examines her open palms the same way I just did. Slowly she rubs together her fingertips, as if she's never seen her hands before. Finally she speaks.
He was very scared.
Mr. Otten?
Yes, but even though I felt his fear, I knew that I was not scared. I'm not scared, but I still feel scared. Does that mean I'm bothered or not bothered?
I sigh and lean against the doorframe. You know, I've always wondered what it would feel like to die. Mime tilts her head to the side. She looks curious. I mean, I've experienced deaths, of course, but they're not mine. And somewhere in the back of my mind, every time I do it, I always know it's not mine. I've always wondered, when I die, will I be afraid, or will I think that's just someone else's death again? Or maybe by the time I die, I'll be so comfortable with it, I won't care, even though I know it's mine. I turn to face Mime. She's watching my face carefully. I don't know. That wasn't really an answer, huh? I laugh and shrug casually. Honestly, I don't even know why I said any of that. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there isn't really an answer. You and I both have to carry other people's emotions. It's tiring and sometimes it's confusing. But I think that if we didn't have these abilities, we'd still be sad when other people are sad and scared when other people are scared. That's just being human. Mime smiles and takes my hand in hers.
Thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. What should I say to her? What is everybody feeling right now? What'd you do before you lived with Aki and Naoki? What does the calligraphy in the front hall say?
No dust settles here. It means that this place is quiet and safe from influence of the outside world.
Huh, okay. What'd you do before you lived with Aki and Naoki?
I'm not allowed to speak about that.
Is there anything you are allowed to speak about? Mime closes her eyes and takes a small breath. Her lips move slowly as if she's poring over the list of things she's allowed to share. Finally, she opens her eyes and smiles with a self-satisfied look on her face.
I'm authorized to share anything that might aid your investigation.
Whoa, what's with that phrasing? She sounds so formal all of a sudden. What is everybody feeling right now?
Naoki is scared.
No, I mean the others, not our friends.
Oh, I apologize.
It's fine, I wasn't very specific. Mime takes a deep breath and closes her eyes again. This time it takes her a little longer to sort out her thoughts.
Sophia is sad. She feels as if there is no hope, but there is also relief.
Relief? Again, I feel uneasy about Sophia. Earlier when I asked her if she cared about Mr. Otten, she didn't actually answer me. All she said was that she didn't know what she'd do now that he's gone. I don't know why that bugs me so much, but it seems like she was avoiding the question.
Marissa is scared and disappointed. There's so much emotion inside of her. It's all flowing at the same time. She wants to be happy, but she also feels very guilty. Humans are very complicated.
Mime nods earnestly, as if she just struck a new idea. I nod in return.
Kevin is uncertain. He does not know what he should be feeling.
He definitely seemed to have trouble believing me when I told him Mr. Otten died. Denial, I guess.
And Liam... I can't.
What's wrong?
He's with Aki right now. She is manipulating his emotions with her Kansei. I cannot tell what is his and what is not.
Aki. That girl seems to be enjoying invading everybody's privacy. It's a wonder that Naoki and Lee May put up with her. Hopefully whatever she's up to will lead to something useful. I'll talk to you later. He nods. Tortoise, dragon, phoenix, tiger. Li Mei says they're from Chinese mythology. These plates have the same animals in the tapestry as the tapestry. I guess these creatures are really important. Some old armor from the Qin dynasty, if the label is to be believed. Looks like it's still in decent condition, so I guess it worked pretty well for whoever owned it previously. There are a lot of strange markings on this thing. According to the label, it's an oracle bone. I guess people tried to see the future with this? Not sure where that door leads. Outside, I guess? Either way, it's locked. Some sort of box. There's no label in it. I guess it's not that important. The door slides open to reveal a wide room furnished with some expensive furniture. If I had to name it, I'd call it the living room. It doesn't feel very lived in at all.
Oh, Kangai, hello!
Hey. She looks happy to see me. Did I do something?
Hey, did something happen? I saw Sophia rush by with that nice boy, but he didn't tell me what was going on.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure there's a tactful way to put this. Mr. Otten died.
What? Are you kidding?
No. Marissa stares into my eyes, searching me with a mixture of fear and panic. I stare back until the truth of the incident sinks in. Her expression changes slowly as she realizes that I'm not lying.
Are you sure? What happened?
Should I tell her? I'm not sure.
Did he die of natural causes?
Why would you ask that?
William Otten is not a popular man. His business practices are already reprehensible, and there have been rumors of unethical treatment of some of his test subjects. That's why I came. I was hoping I'd be able to uncover something about what he might be doing.
So you're really just sneaking around trying to dig up some dirt?
It's really not what you think.
Okay, then what?
Nothing.
What should I ask her? What sort of illegal things was Mr. Otten doing?
Oh, it's hard to say. Everything's just rumor, you know? It would be awfully irresponsible of me to spread false information. So I really need some hard evidence before I say anything else.
Right, sure. It's obvious that there's something she doesn't want to tell me. I wonder if she's a victim of Mr. Otten's actions in the past. Earlier you talked about some rumors about Liam. What was that about?
Ah, those. Well, recently, word's been going around that Liam Otten is involved in dogfighting.
Whoa, that's a felony.
Not to mention extremely cruel.
Well, I'm glad he chose to draw the line somewhere at least.
I'm fairly certain he was just getting fed up with Liam's antics. It's one thing to dismiss underage drinking, but the heat from Liam's participation in animal cruelty is bad publicity he didn't need. I heard he was planning on cutting Liam from his will completely.
Planning on? So he didn't get around to it then?
As far as I can tell, no. But you'd really have to ask someone more knowledgeable than I.
I don't have any other questions right now.
I'll talk to you later then.
Let's see, a dining room table. Looks like it could host a lot of people, but judging from the dust in the middle, I doubt it's been used for a while. 2,000 channels and still nothing on. The garden is made up of evergreens. I think those flowers are called rhododendrons. They're a fairly low maintenance plant. Some sort of combo disc player that reads all sorts of formats. It's empty. Benefits of organ reproduction. Looks like some sort of corporate presentation or informational video. Okay, I think that's all the room. What's over here? And the entrance. The door actually opened. I guess Sophia hasn't changed my permissions from before. Cool. Really? There's no examining anything there? Well, there's nothing to examine. Whoa, this box is full of papers. I should look through these. Experiment results? I don't understand what any of this is about. Maybe I should ask someone trustworthy. I'll take a few of these pages and leave the rest for here for now. Nothing in this box. This box is empty. I can turn off the power from here. I probably shouldn't, though. Emergency lights. They're not on right now. Okay. Can't go here, huh? Try the door, but it doesn't open. I thought Kevin said he'd be in here. I knock on the door and I hear the sound of footsteps. The door slides open.
What's up?
You said you'd be here?
Yeah, I did. What do you want?
I crane my neck to peer over Kevin's shoulder. The room from behind him looks mostly empty, but I can see a glow of television screens across the wall. Can I come in? Kevin frowns, but he steps aside to let me in.
Sure, why not? Since Mr. Otten hired you, you'd probably be allowed in here anyway.
Doesn't take long to scan the contents of the cold room. There's not much on the tile floor, save for a single chair. A long counter stretches across one wall. It bears a lonely keyboard and a mouse. Mounted on the wall are several monitors, all flickering with images of various rooms in the house. At first glance, it appears to be a room meant for a high-security corporate building rather than just a house.
Welcome to my Fortress of Solitude. This is the command center for the entire house.
What should I talk about? You can see everything from here?
Not everything. Mr. Otten's office is strictly off limits. Very private, you know. No one knows what he does in there.
He folds his arms across his chest and scowls.
As if it isn't obvious.
Obvious? What's obvious?
Mr. Otten never likes to be far from his booze. His solution to anything stressful is to drink it away. Of course, he tries to hide it because it's not very professional, but every time he walks out of that room, he reeks of alcohol.
Can you think of any reason someone would want Mr. Otten dead?
You're kidding, right?
No.
You must be new around here. Mr. Otten's infamous around these parts. He's a ruthless sort of dude. Any little guy tries to start something new, he crushes him. Poaches employees, spreads rumors, heck, he's even brought in the courts multiple times. He'll say that these other companies are infringing on his trademark or something equally stupid. Of course, that's only the stuff we know about. If you ask me, he's got more than just dirty business practices going on. I mean, seriously, look at this place. No one builds a house like this in the middle of nowhere unless he's got something to hide. If he's not doing something illegal, I'll eat my motherboard.
Let's see. Why do you work for Mr. Otten?
The money. Duh.
But you said he's probably doing illegal things. Doesn't that bother you?
Never actually witnessed him do anything illegal, and maintaining his security system is harmless. So even if he goes down, I can't be held responsible for anything.
In other words, you don't really care where the money comes from as long as you don't get into trouble.
Yeah, pretty much. Why, should I?
I'm starting to think that I'm not going to like anyone in this house. If these are the people Mr. Otten surrounds himself with, I can't imagine the sort of people he's trying to hide from. How'd you get this job?
Mr. Otten offered it to me.
Really?
Well, yeah, he handpicks everyone who works for him.
How did he find you?
I graduated in the top of my class at a university he funds. He offered this job to me straight out of college.
That's pretty lucky.
Yeah, that's the word for it.
Well, am I mentioning things, or is he resentful about something? You know anything about Liam's nightlife?
You mean all the drinking and gambling, or extra stupid stuff?
Well, I was thinking about other things.
Oh, the dog fights then.
You knew about that?
Well, yeah. I'm the reason Mr. Otten found out in the first place. He asked me to track Liam's movements on his phone. Guess he didn't trust him. There's a surprise. Anyway, I noticed Liam was spending more and more time in a corner of town that's not really hot on the usual party clubs, so I did some more digging. Found out that Liam was watching dogfights, and in some cases, funding them himself. Big Will was furious when I told him. When you showed up, I thought he had hired a private investigator to get some proof. I guess it's kind of a moot point now.
That's all for now.
Come by if you want to ask me anything else.
Alright, why don't we stop it there? This is Apostrophe. You've been watching Kansei. I want to say The Second Fury, but that's an old Kung Fu movie. The Second Turn HD, running on Series X. Yeah, like I said, I'm intrigued enough by the mystery. The voice acting and the sound and the graphics and the control are all good, and it's a visual novel, so obviously it doesn't require too much effort on a console to run. It's available on all the platforms, so yeah, if you kind of like murder mysteries, murder mystery visual novels, then definitely check it out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.